Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. So this week is Mindfulness Week because mindfulness really is foundational to absolutely everything. There's my girl Vanessa. I've missed you. Good to see you. Mindfulness is everything. When we're mindful, we are actually the creators of our lives. We're not just going around for the ride. We're not just getting on top of the boat and just saying, oh, I hope this works out. We are the boats. We are part of the rising tide. We are powerful and we're a force to be reckoned with. That's what happens when we make a decision to be mindful and stop allowing life to just carry us by. You know, it's just, oh boy, get rid of this one. There you go. Hello, Sadie, two pinkies up. Our little Sadie. So I want to, let's steer the ship back. Hey, rising tides, can you come with me? Bring your boats and let's go to this mindfulness thing. Let's talk about it. This can transform our very lives because it connects us to our higher self. It makes us conscious instead of living in the unconscious. You know, like we talked about with Bruce Lipton in his book, The Biology of Belief, 95% of the time, most people are living in their unconscious, meaning that they're just getting by day after day and they get into bed and just go, what the heck happened? You know, I know what that feels like. We all do. But to live a lifetime of this, there was an old movie, Wine and Roses, I think it was, or something, you know, I don't remember. Somebody can tell me what it was. If that's all there is, then let's just keep dancing. Is that all there is? Was the song I remember from it. But, right, is that all there is? Well, I say no, that there's so much more to life that we can, as creators of our own lives, create our own vibrancy. But it's got to start with mindfulness. If we don't have mindfulness, how can we even know to do it, right? How do we even know to do it? This is why we have the tools for success that we do in our shop. This is why we created the quote deck and the mindful mug to bring you back to this place so that you remember all this stuff. Not just to do a 7-day sprint, whatever, and there you go, you're done and back to the same old stuff. No, to stay in it, to stay in your life, to be those creators. And when we do this, you know, we get to be women who create their own lives. And that's when it gets really exciting. So the name of this whole topic, if you will, is transformation happens when we accept ourselves. We don't accept ourselves, EXCEPT. Because when we start to accept ourselves, warts and all, then we can go forward. Then we can go mindfully about ourselves. We know things about ourselves because unfortunately, a lot of times what we do is we blow up a lot of our flaws or we dismiss some of the things that we don't want to look at. And we go forward with this distorted view of who we are. And the point is that we're created on purpose, for purpose by a God who sees us as the apple of his eye, fearfully and wonderfully made, a magnificent creation. Here on purpose for purpose. That should touch you in the depth of your heart. That should make you think, wow, if that's the case, I'm not just here taking up space. I'm not just here breathing a bunch of air. It's not that at all. There's a reason for me to be here. And my goodness, yes, there's a reason for you to be here. And again, it changes season to season. And external things, by the way, it's very temporary. We know that, you know, we know this. We know that this external stuff is temporary. Our houses can burn down. Things wear out. My toothbrush just wore out. You know, I have one of those electric toothbrushes, not the Oral-B, but the other one. You know, and it just wore out. It's sitting in the stand and it doesn't work anymore. But And I'm looking at it like, why did you wear out? And it's like, because things wear out, you know, they're not granted eternal life. Things wear out, things get old, things die, people die. It happens, you know, it happens. Shelley says, we are princesses, daughters of the king, and should love ourselves accordingly. Amen. And that's why we accept ourselves. We don't accept ourselves. When we're putting ourselves down and dissing ourselves and dismissing ourselves all the time, not only is that an insult to the Creator who made us, but it also diminishes who we are. It diminishes our spirit. It puts down this beautiful selves that we have. It puts it down, and it's super low vibe. Super low vibe. Remember, we want high vibe. And I'm going to just say one thing, sidebar. Go onto YouTube and watch high vibration plates with sand, and watch the beautiful patterns that it makes versus low vibration. This is how God works. He is an energetic being and showing you what energy is about. And don't you feel better when you're way up here? Don't you? Versus way down here into the doldrums, acting like Eeyore, accepting yourself. So if only a lot of our lives, if we go through this whole thing with this regretful tone and this regretful cloud, if only I had what she has, comparison. If only I could, like she does, and more comparison. If only I lost weight. If only I could, if only. And we've got to stop that. Because when we do this, we're literally wiring our brains for this kind of misery. We can do that, you know that? And it's a choice. It is a choice. Oh, good, there it is. There it is. Sand vibrations. It'll flip you out. And I want you to look at, when you're looking at these sand vibrations, it's put right here, the link, it's on YouTube. The link is here in the chat. When you look at it, I want you to think higher vibrations, the beauty is incredible. Lower vibration, not so much. Okay? Just think about that, because we are always, we're vibrating. Everything is energy. Your desk has energy. It's just low or high. This is a big deal to me. And I want you to feel this and understand this. This is impactful for how we do our lives. So the key to stopping this is to literally change your mind. Literally change your mind. When you change your mind and you shift and you go another direction, you get to rewire it. And that's part of it, because it's not just a matter of saying something cute and, slapping a happy platitude over the top of it. It's a matter of going through, making a decision that is unacceptable. And this is acceptable. This is what I want in my life instead. It's a shift. It's a change. We do goals. We do vision boards, right? We do all of this stuff. We've got our quote decks here. We pick up mugs, and it reminds us, everything reminds us of the beauty of who we are. That's mindfulness right there. And that mindfulness is everything, because that mindfulness moves the needle in every single area of your life when you decide it will. It's just that simple. This is called neuroplasticity. This is how your brain works. And it happens in your brain, and it wires depending on how you use it. You can use it in a real low vibe way if you want to and go down the path of misery, or you can choose a different wiring system. You can go high vibe. High vibe. That's a whole different thing. So we understand what it feels like too, right? To do something wrong physically. Do you know what that is? Has anybody ever just got up and stood up and twisted their ankle, or misstepped and twisted your ankle? You know what that feels like. It hurts. You were trying to take a step and you missed, and you twisted your ankle. Well, a twisted ankle, we also have twisted thinking. And over a period of time doing that twisted thinking, it's going to handicap the way that you do your life, just as if you constantly are twisting your ankle. At some point, you're going to start limping. And that's exactly what happens when we're using our brains wrongly. And it's done mindlessly. It's not done on purpose. It's not somebody stands up, says, hey, today I think I'm just going to be an absolute, doo-doo about my whole life and start thinking these miserable thoughts and mulling them over and over and over again and living in the past and, forget about the experience file. I'm just going to go back to this place. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to live in the past, just like our quote said, miserable landlord, horrible landlord. Yeah, Sarah's right. Neuroplasticity is absolutely fascinating. It's the Oregon Trail in our brain. We've talked about that. The more you go, and if you understand, and in my new book, which is coming up, but in my new book, I talk every single, like you have billions of cells in your brain, and every cell has a pathway. They have 1 to a billion pathways with that one cell. Can you imagine? The workings in our brains are just incredible. But we also have to understand that our brain is our brain. It is our heart, it is our soul, it is the beautiful self that we own that helps to direct it. It's choices that we make. And yeah, we're using our brain the whole time, but we're also taking with us so much more. Have you ever said to yourself, hey, I've got this gut feeling? Well, do you know your gut is involved in that decision making? And when you go against the gut, was the wrong thing to do. Your gut's telling you. They call that a second brain. That's our physiology, y'all. That's our physiology. Isn't it just magnificent? Doesn't it just make you think, wow, I don't know about you, but it blows me away. So we don't want to be twisting our ankles all the time, do we? No, we don't want to be using our brains wrong all the time, because that leads to twisted thinking, just like a twisted ankle. So these are some of the things that we want to do, right? This is what we want to do. We want to be aware, but not caught up, because it's just one thing. You can't put on blinders and say, okay, well, I'm just going to pretend that none of this is true. You can't do that, but you need to be aware. The difference in this is mindfulness. You're not aware, you're not getting caught up in it. You're not over emoting, over ridiculously going crazy over something, and instead just taking an observational stance on some of these things. We notice. That's mindfulness. And then we don't want to be unaware and then caught up as well. Being unaware, again, blinders, we don't want any of that. We want to be that's how we play into what's going on in our lives. We do it from a mindful place. We can be aware and notice, and rather than unaware and caught up, because that's what happens so much. So here's the thing. One, we need to notice, right? So don't complain about it. What does that mean? We don't complain about it. We understand that when we complain, we actually shrink the hippocampus of our brains. It does. That's research, y'all. That is science right there. Isn't that creepy? Shrinking your brain shrinks when you complain. So noticing, not complaining, that is being aware and being mindful. And 2, what do we do about this? The other thing that we do about, we ask better questions. We can ask better questions than why me, right? I mean, why me is pathetic. Why me is sad. And why not you? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things. And I'm not dismissing anybody's pain. I'm not dismissing anybody's tragic whatever, but we have to, if we're going to go into the place of living transformationally, we have to do this so that we can be mindful. And then we ask better questions. What if? Can you imagine? What if? What if this happened? What if I did this? Can you imagine? Those things are those are needle movers. Because that opens up the gateway to creative solving things. You can't solve things if you're not creative. You can't solve things if you think it's a done deal. You can't solve things if you're caught up in twisted thinking and warped, thoughts. It doesn't help. It just puts you, Debbie Downer, right into that corner. You're not going to do anything. You can't pass go. So there is a story of a bunch of Buddhist monks in Thailand, and they had this huge Buddha that they were trying to move. It was a big clay Buddha, and they were trying to move it from one area to the other. And they had all the monks in the monastery moving them. And the clay started to fall off the Buddha, and gold started to leak, started to show up. And all of a sudden they recognized and they saw that this Buddha was made of clay. So here's the thing that I want you to see from this whole thing is that oftentimes we are hidden treasures from ourselves and from everybody else. I mean, the story goes that basically some army was coming in to seize all the people and treasure, and they put mud all over this Buddha, and it was sat there for so many years that they finally uncovered it when they had to move it and found out that it was gold. And that's what we do. For all these years, we hide under this mud pack, and underneath it all is shiny, beautiful gold, because that's who God makes. God made you the apple of his eye, the apple of his eye. That's how much you're cherished. That's how much you are, more so than a golden Buddha. But think about it. We hide from ourselves, and we're not even mindful enough to even know ourselves because we've hidden it for so long, out of fear, out of being afraid of being recognized or whatever it is. But we are golden. Do you remember that song? Crosby, Stills, Nash, we are golden, we are stardust, whatever. But we're fearfully, wonderfully made on purpose and for purpose. We can't get away from that. We just can't. That's just fact. That is fact. And mindfulness transforms our very lives because it connects us to that higher golden self. It connects us to that. So when we remove the facade, the clay, just like that, we allow the preciousness of who we are to shine. And that's everything. That's your true self. That's who you are. And when you're mindful about getting past all of this stuff and being in that shiny place, you're going to start seeing things just a little bit differently. You're going to start looking at yourself as a little bit more precious than just this clay statue over there. So we allow ourselves to shine by becoming aware. And that's the starting place. It has to be the starting place. That's how we work our way into being mindful so that we can turn around and live in mindfulness. Mindfulness is a state of being. And being in that state requires us to evaluate and to look at things and to step into a higher role. It means that we're not going to be just getting through life anymore. It means that we're not going to put off our dreams. It means that we're going to go after them with everything that we've got and see that there's a potential there. There's an ability there. There's possibility there. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yes, it is a cosmic 2x4. Don't we all do this though? We do. This is how we cover up, and it's our fear. That's what that mud is. It's fear. And it's hiding from the world. And I'm saying to you, you don't have nothing to hide from. Nobody is ever going to stand in front of God and say, hey, God, I did everything right. No, ma'am, they're not. We all have stuff that we're ashamed of, or we wish didn't happen, or we have regrets about. We all have stuff, don't we? Well, if you don't, then you're not human. We've all lived our lives, and we've done the best that we can with what we've got. But if we decide to take back our lives and to live with vibrancy, then we step into this place of mindfulness, and we remove the clay. Because the clay is going to hide us from who we are, not just to the world, but to ourselves as well. So let's give a recap then, okay? This awareness is the beginning place of and noticing without reacting is the beginning place. But I've got 7 things, just kind of a recap today of what we talked about. And number 1 is we need to accept ourselves and stop accepting ourselves. We accept ourselves out of a vibrant life simply because we don't think we're worthy of it, we don't deserve it, or it's for them, it's not me. Whatever our things are, whatever our reasoning is, stop it. That's just more clay over that golden beauty that is you. So let's accept ourselves. Number 2, can we make a pinky promise on this one? Can we stop if only? If only. If only I blah, 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 blah. If only da, 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 da. If only dot, dot, dot. If onlys are just regretful, heavy statements. And when I hear if only, what I'm noticing from that is a whole deep regret that's being dragged behind that statement like a big ball and chain. That's not vibrant. That is low vibe. Low vibe. If only doesn't work. If only is crap and needs to go in the crap heap. Yeah, pinkies up. Good. Yes, let's do it, ladies. Number 3 is twisted ankles happen because of missteps, and twisted thinking comes from twisted thoughts. It becomes because we're not thinking authentically, about ourselves. We're not living authentically. We're not living true. We're not using our voice in our lives. You know that. We're going through the motions. To have a voice in our lives is to create vibrancy. To create our lives, we have to have a voice. We can't hide behind this mask of mud. We have to allow the gold to shine through. That's how you have a voice in your life. That's how you create vibrancy. Number 4, we need to start asking better questions, right? What's our question? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? What if? What if? What if in a good way, in a very positive way? Not like, what if, we get eaten alive by bears? No. What if? Imagination, stirring the creative pot to allow you to be the creator of your life, the creator of your life. Number 5, we need to start noticing and stop reacting. No hand wringing allowed. Come on. Really way low vibe. What is it accomplishing? If worrying did anything, right? Wouldn't we all be rich? It hasn't done a thing. We can't worry. What we need to do instead is like, okay, so what can I do about this? What power do I have in order to conquer this problem? And if you don't have it, and you can't seek it out, then you got to give it up. Yeah, give it up to the one who can take it. His shoulders are way bigger than ours. Number 6, we need to be aware and not caught up. When we're aware, do you know what we see? When we see this awareness, do you know what we see with this awareness? We see all the things around us that are going on, and we can say, I will accept this. I will not accept that. I will accept this. I will not accept that. It makes you very choosy. It makes you particular, and it brings you up to your higher self. I love that one so much. And number 7 is being mindful and making a decision to be mindful literally changes your mind. It literally does. It takes practice. It takes doing. It takes creating a day that will help you to do that. It means goals. It means having a daily setup for your life. It means putting them into practice on a daily basis. We have the ability to have so much more than we even think is possible. And I'm not talking about cars and clothes. I'm talking about the life that we want. The life that we want is just on the other side of a new thought. How about that? It's on the other side of a new thought. You ready to do this with me? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Thanks for joining me today, by the way. Yay! What a fun time. This is just good for me. I don't know. I think I wrote this show for me. I needed it. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you found any value here, go ahead and share it. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace be with you.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.